struggle in organizing and channelizing their business. So it is very important for us to help them out so that in the renewal, we don't get a liquidation, we don't have to send a liquidation quote. So this is a big reason why we collaborate with different vendors or quality vendors who can help our clients or organize their business, manage their performances, organize their tasks, because these are small things which accumulate to result into a big business. So one of our vendors whom we have collaborated for the last 4 years, and we are a Zoho user for the last 4 years, is Mr. Satya Bharat. He is a very active member of many communities. He himself is a multipreneur, and his expertise is organizing tasks and managing performances, and especially KPIs. Satyan has led by example, and he has helped many entrepreneurs organize and channelize their businesses and scale up by using different tools that he's going to talk about today. So it's my pleasure to invite Satyan as a guest, who's CEO and founder of Zopreneurs. And I would like Satyan to start with his own introduction and a little bit about his journey. And then we come to the part of what he's exactly going to talk about. And then we'll go for question answer sessions and takeaways. Thank you, Satyan. Over to you.
Thank you, Rupa. Thank you very much. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to share our knowledge about Zoho and automation with your clients. And I know you've been having a great time with Zoho. So thank you once again for this opportunity, and I really appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Satya, and I run a couple of companies, one of them being Zopreneurs. The whole idea of Zopreneurs is an entrepreneur that runs their businesses on Zoho. Let me share with you how I started my journey and how automation has been a key part in my success. So I've been running multiple businesses, and I've been doing this for the past 10 years. And one of my first businesses was a dance and a fitness studio called DANS Dance. And I was a very new entrepreneur, so when I started, I wasn't really aware of how you can use technology to make your life easier and how you can use automation to get things done faster. So for my first year, second year, third year, like any budding business, I did not adopt to the technological curve, and I was primarily doing everything manually, and we were growing. The team was also growing. And I came across Zoho in my 6th year of operations. So I had lost a significant amount of time. That's about 6 years, very long. Then when I realized what Zoho can do, we entirely got into automation, primarily from an accounting perspective and from a CRM perspective. Some basic examples were SMS integration. So if you'd visit the studio to do a demo class, we'd book it on the system, and you'd automatically get reminders of our location and what to wear. You'd get emails. Similarly, the team would get notifications and tasks as well as to what they had to do. So it really made life massively easier. And then the whole story continued where I got so obsessed with it, I started learning myself how to create these automations in the system. And that's where Zopreneurs was born. Zopreneurs is a COVID baby, so it's about 2.5 years old now. And it came about during COVID when we had ample time because no events were running at that point in time. And we were very passionate about Zoho. We were running our business on Zoho. So the whole idea of then migrating and starting up a new business in the IT space came along, and that's how Zopreneurs was formed. So I'll just go through the agenda today. If you can go to the next slide, please, Rupa. We'll talk about me, and we've already given some ideas about what we do, our introduction, so on and so forth. We'll talk about what are automations and how can they help your businesses. We'll do a couple of activities. So if you have a pen, paper, that'll be great. You can write stuff down, and you can actually go back and implement it within your organization, at least the whole processes, if not the automation at this point in time. We'll talk about the different levels of automation as well, and then we'll have a fun Q&A session where we can answer any questions that you have. So let's start with the first thing in terms of what are automations, right? So when I say automations, we look at two aspects of automations. We look at internal automation and we look at external automation. Internal automation is anything that makes my life easier in terms of automated reminders, automated tasks, automated meeting settings, automated follow-up, so on and so forth. And then there is a whole series of external automation. And when I say external automation, you talk about anything that goes out to the client. So let's say I raise a quotation and the client hasn't responded in 2 days. The client gets an automatic email reminder saying, "Hey, hope you're doing well. Here are 7 reasons why you should work with Rupa and Black Swan." Right? That's an example of an external automation. Or let's say if the service industry, the hospitality industry into catering, and they provided food for a particular birthday, right? And they had 100 people attending this event, so they provided catering for 100 people. If they know the client's birthday, they can set automations where next year, automatically before the birthday, a couple of months in advance, emails start going out, SMSs start going out to the client saying, "Hey, we'd love to serve you this year as well for your birthday. When can we have a conversation? What are your plans?" So on and so forth. So we look at automation on two fronts. We look at internal automation and external automation. Before I go ahead and talk about why you should listen to these ideas and processes, I'll just tell you what I do. I run Zopreneurs, like I mentioned earlier, and I've been very closely connected to the parent company called Zoho. Zoho is an Indian company, 25 years old. Last year, they crossed a revenue of $1 billion. And I've been on their panels. We got an award last year and as well last year as one of the key contributing partners. So that's what we are, and we've been running our businesses on Zoho. I run 3 businesses, all three are on Zoho. So I have experience as a Zoho partner, as a Zoho implementer, and as a Zoho user, which is great. So that's what we do. Going on to the next slide, I want to talk about why we need automation. So, see, the whole idea is as businesses grow, the work grows, right? When the work grows, people start doing tasks that might be important but not revenue generational in nature. They might be important but not productive, right? The tasks that we do, are they revenue impacting, are they revenue generating, so on and so forth. And of course, as we grow, we do more tasks, and these tasks have a cost attached to it, right? Everything we do in terms of time, salary, there is a cost attached to it. Resources, there is a cost attached to it. I need an office, I need a laptop, I need an iMac, right? I need accessories, so on and so forth. There is a cost attached to every activity or task we do. And how can we reduce that cost in terms of what is the possibility of the system doing it by itself, so I don't have to necessarily invest my time, is why we need automation. Automation is absolutely important for every business, and the whole idea is to enhance productivity, enhance efficiency by streamlining tasks, reducing errors also. So the whole system takes care of a lot of errors that humans would do, especially when you're loaded with work and you've had a tiring day and you want to finish everything off before 6 p.m., before 7 p.m., right? So if you would automate these tasks, you'll also lead to a lot of cost saving and improved outcomes as well. So now if I'm specifically hiring one salesperson or one accountant to make quotations, because I have a team of 10 salespeople and they get 20 requests every day. So about 200 quotations, one person is just making quotations. Even if you're paying them an average of 4,000, you're looking at 12 months into 448,000 is the direct cost plus your visa, the annual leave, their sick leave, their paid leave. When they go for leave, their replacements, their gratuity, so on and so forth, is pretty much an outcost of about 60, 65, 70,000 dirhams straight in a year, just for one resource to sit there and make quotations, which is important because you want to send quotations out. But is there a possibility to change that? Is there a possibility where the 10 salespeople directly put in their requests on the system, and with the click of a button, automations comes in place, and your accounts team, current accounts team, without adding an extra resource, can churn out quotations directly, right? So where can we save time? Where can we save effort? That's the whole idea as to why we need automation, right? So just to give you a few examples in the next slides, we've mentioned what are the benefits of having your automation. Of course, data accuracy is very, very important. You all must have heard that data is the new oil, right? If you have been running a business for the last 7 years, and on average, if you deal with 100 clients in a year, you have 700 clients, right? That's great data. The key question is, are you in touch with all of these 700 customers? I know it's practically not possible. I absolutely agree with you that this is just not practical to stay in touch with so many people. But through automation, it is possible. You can stay in touch with them, at least during key figures, right? So, for example, let's say if Rupa has helped somebody establish a company and she knows this is the date of the company, it'll be nice to get a message from Rupa saying, "Hey, congratulations on completing 1 year, or 2 years, or 3 years at that day," right? And it could be automated. So there's better data accuracy. There's always improved customer satisfaction, right? How many times have we gotten a call where somebody's requested for some information and we said, you know what, I'm currently outside on a couple of meetings. I'm going to go back to the office and send it to you. And you've forgotten. That happens. That happens many times where you commit to sending something and you forget it because you're just busy. Or you probably have been stuck in back to back meetings and you haven't gotten time to go back to the office and send it, right? With automations, with a click of a button saying that this customer is interested in this service, just on your mobile application, they get that data right away. There is always improved customer satisfaction. Somebody goes on your website, leaves you an inquiry, right? Traditionally, you would get an email saying somebody has left their information on your website, and then you would go through the emails and then you kind of contact them or drop them another message or email, and that process takes time, Till then, the customer does not know if they've received my inquiry or not. But through automations, the minute they put in their details, their data goes to the CRM. An automatic email goes saying, "Thank you so much for inquiring. We'd love to assist you. Please provide us with a time of 24 hours to get back." Right? It's that simple. It does always lead to customer satisfaction. And it also leads to an image, a brand image of professionalism. So that's another example of how automations can help you enhance your brand image and have some positive impact on your business. And I would always say increase scalability and flexibility. The more people you hire, the more distributed your company's core values or culture gets. So if you're alone, right, you treat your customers in a particular manner, you're extremely professional, you're on time, you're efficient. Now you hired two other salespeople. It's not necessary that they work the same way you work, right? They must have a different style of working, which means the more you scale, the more diluted the company's customer experience gets, right? Through something that's automated, you could have that scalability and yet maintain the company core values, the attitude, the flexibility that you want to offer to your customers. And that might be the reason why they want to work with you. So it's extremely important to realize that as well. Now let's have some fun activity. So if you are sitting and you have a piece of paper and a pen, just pick it up. If you're driving, please be very, very careful. If you don't have a piece of paper, take out your mobile phone and just start making notes. So I'll ask you a couple of questions and just write the answer down and then we can discuss that later. So first is, are you familiar with workflow automations? Like, have you ever thought about how can I automate my business? Or have you thought about what are the tasks that you do on a daily basis that are repeated, which can be automated, and also which probably don't really add value to your time or are not really revenue generating? What could that be? So, for example, uh, whenever I get an inquiry, I open my laptop, I open my mail page, I go to compose, then I open a Word file that has my company profile, I copy paste the whole thing, then I attach the PDF file, then I type the email address and I type dear, put the first name over there, and then I send it across, right? I do that and I approximately meet 20 people in a day. I do it 20 times in a day. It takes 3 minutes per profile. So looking at 20 in 360 minutes, right? So activity number one is write down a couple of things that you do on a daily basis, which consume time and which you think can be automated. I've given you one example of your company profile being emailed automatically. That same can be divided into multiple aspects, right? It doesn't have to be only company profile. It could be I keep sending information on different product lines that we have, right? So let's say somebody's in the HoReCa industry and they cater to the hotels, the restaurants, cafes by selling them packaging material, and they have a range of eco-friendly packaging material, and they have plastics and they have paper, cardboard, so on and so forth, right? There are 4 different kinds of ranges of products. The minute they get an inquiry, now they go and start sending them that particular range inquiry, which takes time and effort. Can that be automated with the click of a button? If I say cardboard, can they get the entire profile of products that we have under the cardboard line? Right? That's another possibility. Where else can you automate your business processes? So that's point number one. I'm hoping by now you've written a couple of ideas down, just whatever comes to your mind to begin with. Number two is, what challenges do you face in your current workflow that you think can be automated? Now, these are the tasks that eventually get delayed, that take the longest time. So I've had customers that say, you know what, I've had a fabulous meeting. Now he's asked for a proposal. Making the proposal takes an hour, hour and a half, and I don't have the time to do that. That's a big challenge I'm facing. I don't have the time to create my proposals. They're very fancy, right? My customer loves getting my proposals. I don't want to send a normal Excel based quotation, create customized proposals, but they take 90 minutes, right? That's a massive challenge. How do I automate that? So that's an example of one challenge that one of my customer faces. What are the challenges that you face? Do you think the technology is a challenge in terms of what I want is not available? Do you think the people are the challenge in terms of my people will not use this? Do you think training is the challenge? Or I've tried to set up this automated system, but I always fail to train my team, and then new members join, and I don't have the time to train them, and so on and so forth. What are the challenges you're facing in your whole process flow, in your whole workflow from start to end, from the point the customer comes with an inquiry till you close him? What are the challenges you're facing? Put these down, because they are the best chances of in of kind of getting automation into your business, of installing automation into your business. That's the easiest one, because you know it takes a lot of time, you know it's important, and you want to do it with a click of a button, right? That's the whole idea. The next thing I'll ask you is, which areas of your business or work do you think would benefit the most from automation? So if you're into sales, you will say follow-ups, right? I send so many quotations every day and I forget to follow up. If there's an automatic process to follow up, it could really benefit my business the most. Some business owners might say payments. We have such a huge list of outstanding payments. If that can be automated, where reminders go out regularly, or we get reminders to call them because now they've crossed their time and now they're overdue, that'll be great. That'll have the maximum impact, right, in my business. What are the other features? What are the other processes where you think you can add maximum value, right? It's important to write these down, because there are some you might think that takes a lot of time and I wouldn't do it and it's a big challenge. But even after you accomplish that, is it actually putting maximum value into your business? Right? That's key for you guys to know. I hope you made these notes. We're going to go to the next slide where I'll talk about the three possible levels of automations that we'll discuss today. Of course, automations can be there in every part of your business. It could be in HR, it could be in marketing, it could be in your customer relations, in your sales, in your finance, in your manufacturing, in your distribution, pretty much everywhere. But today we'll talk about three things that I believe have the maximum impact on your revenue. We're going to talk about databases in terms of how we can automate stuff over there, opportunities or inquiries in regular terms. How can automation help you in your whole inquiry opportunity stage? And how can automation help you with your reports? In terms of what reports can you automate so you know exactly what to check on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, which shows up directly in your inbox, or the minute you log into your system, it's right there for you to see and assess and take the right decisions of what needs to happen on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, right? That's the whole idea in terms of the levels of automation. So let's start with the first one, right? So next slide, we'll just see a huge database word written over there. Now, what is database primarily? Right? What is database? A lot of people think that database is just customers list. Well, that is true to some points. There is a list of your customers, but there is so much more that database can do for you. It's not just a list of your customers and their data. It could be a list of their preferences. It could be a database of all the meetings that you and your team has conducted, right? It could be a database of all the emails that you've sent. It could be a database of all the quotations that have gone out. It could be a database of all the inquiries that have come in, right? There is so much potential with regards to database. And more importantly, let's discuss what's the value it adds, right? Oh, okay, I've done 3 meetings. Do you really want me to kind of document those 3 meetings in the system? Yes, absolutely. Right? What's the value? Your data will help you take strategic business decisions. Let me repeat that. Your data will help you take strategic business decisions. If I ask you, do you know how many customers have you worked with till date? Do you have that data? That's point number one, right? That's the most basic stuff, right? How many customers have you worked with? Second, out of all these customers, how many customers have not dealt with you in the last 1 year, for example? So I've worked with 3,000 customers. From the 3,000 customers, 750 have not dealt with me in the past 1 year. Great. Can we create an automation where if a customer doesn't work with you for more than a year, you get a notification to reach out to them and they get an automatic email saying that we missed them and we'd love to work with them? Now imagine that. Imagine if all your customers would get an automatic email and you would get an automatic notification saying, this customer has not dealt with us in over more than a year, reach out to him. Wouldn't that make your life easy? Wouldn't that have a direct impact on your sales? Just imagine that. Let's take an example. If you are into manufacturing and let's say you manufacture boxes, right? And you sell these boxes to different companies. And in most cases, you sell them to B2B cases. So you know that they're recurring, right? They sell their items in those boxes and they'll need to come back and buy more boxes from me. And you put an automation in your database saying that amongst all my customers, if any customer does not come back in 90 days, who has been tagged as a recurring customer, notify me and drop them an email automatically, send them an SMS automatically, for example. Now, isn't that cool? Just imagine, isn't that cool, right? You're assuming that within 90 days they'll consume all the boxes that are sold to them. So by now they should have bought again. Why aren't they buying, right? The system does that for you through its automation. So now what I want you guys to do is think of a couple of rules, right, about what you would like to create if you had this automated machine that could do everything for you. Think about that rule. Let's start with the first basic rule, which we call customer segmenting. What are the segments that you want to divide your customers into? A basic example could be I want to divide them into one-off and recurring customers. So the minute they buy from me the first time, I want to be able to kind of tag them and say, this customer is a recurring customer and I have multiple opportunities with this customer, whereas this customer is a one-off customer. So let's take an example of a spa, right? Somebody walks in, they buy a big package from you, extremely happy. In conversation, you realize, are they tourists or do they live here? If they're tourists, then it's pretty much a one-off deal, right? They're probably in the area or they're here for a week and they've come to you and that's about it. And they fly back to their country and that's a one-time customer. But let's assume they stay close by. That could be a recurring customer, right? So the one segment you could look at is one-time and recurring. That's one way of looking at it, right? Okay. Another segment that your database could be divided into is the potential of the customer. Well, is this customer a gold potential customer, a silver potential customer, or a bronze potential customer, right? What's the potential of this customer? Because based on the potential, I want to have a different sales strategy for them, right? And then you realize that over the last 1 month, I have 7 salespeople. We have 100 potential contacts. Show me how many from the 100 are gold contacts, right? And then you'll realize that, great, from 100 I have 25 gold contacts, 25%, which is fabulous. Don't want to increase this. Or am I happy with this? Do I want to reduce this? What do I want to do with this, right? So that's another example of how you want to divide or segment your database and then create automations. If a customer equals to category gold, send them this information. An automatic email should go from the CEO side introducing themselves because this customer is a gold potential customer. You know, if the customer is a silver potential customer, this automation should happen. That should go around this route. If it's bronze, this automation should happen, right? That's a great way of segmenting your database. So that's the second example. If you think that there's something that's in your industry that should add value, please go ahead and document that on that piece of paper or on your phone, wherever you're making notes. Let's take another example of database. Let's say idle time. When I say idle time means no activity. Non-activity. That means if there's a contact in my database and there's been no activity at all, where he hasn't come to my website, I haven't sent him an email. There's no task assigned to him. There's no conversation, no calls, no notes. Nothing has happened, right? I want XYZ to happen for it. And that XYZ could be either reassign the contact to another salesperson, send them an automatic reminder, let me know, so on, so forth, whoever it is, whatever it is. But let's say that's way of doing it. So I want to divide my customers into segments of 90 days idle time, 180 days, and 365 days, right? So that's another way of dividing your database. And let's keep in mind that all this happens automatically. You would get a report saying out of all of these customers, so many are idle for these many days, like 365 days, 180 days, 90 days, and these are not idle, they're in touch. Like over the last 90 days, there's been some kind of communication. So there are huge opportunities over there, right? Huge opportunities in your database. Even stuff like recurring dates. If I want to go and sell uh, a building maintenance contract to a construction company, and they say we already have a contract with somebody else, and that'll expire in December, right? You have a database of potential opportunities that'll show up in the month of December. This goes over there. You put in December, and through automation, from July onwards, they get an email every 30 days saying, hey, let's catch up for a meeting. Would love to understand how we can add value. So that's another example of a database. So now I'm going to take a 20-30 seconds break, and I want to give you time to kind of pen down some notes in terms of how do you want to divide your database by segments, and what kind of automation would you like for it to happen. It's that simple. How do you want to divide your database, and what kind of automation would you like to see it happen? Let's give you about 10-15 seconds, and then I'll go to the second point, which is opportunities. So let's wait for about 15 more seconds. I'll also breathe till then. Thank you, Rupa. All right, I hope you guys are making note. We're going to point number 2, which is opportunities, right? Now, when you say automation and opportunities, that's probably a segment that has the most kind of value that can be added, because that's when you say opportunity, I'm talking about deals, talking about inquiries that come in, right? These people are ready to buy. When you say database, there is great potential. They have them in my system. They could be a potential client. They might buy 90 days, 180 days later. But when you say opportunities, somebody's in touch with you today. They've reached out to you today, and they probably want to buy today, right? What kind of automations can go on in this whole process? Many of you, if you've studied customer journey mapping, you would realize there's something called nurturing, right? There's a process called nurturing where somebody's in my system now, and I want to nurture this customer. So eventually, whatever the projected timeline is, at that point in time, they start buying stuff from me. Let's say if I'm into trading of B2C and childcare stuff, right? So what kids? You want to start the nurturing process of that client the minute the family is pregnant, because then you have 9 months to nurture them. So 9 months later, they can start buying from you, right? That's an example of what kind of automation. So you put somebody in the system and say, great, she is in the 3rd month of pregnancy. And then over the next 6 months is nurturing happening, right? That's an example of what you can do in opportunities. So now the first step that I want you guys to do in this is, again, take that pen and paper and write down what are the different stages that you have in your business, from the first point of inquiry till they close. So I'll give you an example of what I do in my business, right? For Zopreneurs, we sell software solutions. We sell Zoho CRM. The minute an inquiry comes in, the first step is inquiry. Second stage is conversation. So have you done a conversation? Have you spoken with them, etc.? Then we have demo. So in the conversation, we block a demo. We conduct the demo. After the demo, they're interested. A proposal goes out, a follow-up goes out, and they decide yes or no. So from the first point, which is inquiry, till the last point, what automations can happen where is the whole idea about this slide. Throughout your inquiries, throughout your opportunities, what can happen? Let me give you a couple of examples. An inquiry comes in. The least that should happen is a notification should go out to the customer saying, thank you so much for inquiring. We have received your inquiry and are working on it. Please allow us to revert back to you within 48 hours. Right? That just shows you're working with a professional company, right? It adds value. And now this has become pretty much the baseline. You would expect that, right? If you went to somebody's website and you gave your information, you would expect an email to come through from them saying, "Thank you so much for reaching out." Wouldn't you expect that? I mean, most of us do. And if you don't get an email, you feel like, okay, did they get my inquiry? Did they not get my inquiry? That's strange. Let me drop it again. And then you go back to their website and put your information again, and all of that happens, right? So, what are your stages? And on every stage, what do you think should happen in terms of automation? The first stage, the inquiry has happened. An automatic email should go with my company profile and thanking them for the inquiry. At the same time, an automatic task should get created for me to call them. So let's assume I have 7 people gone to my website, they put an inquiry. I get 7 tasks to call each and every one of them. And that task could be automatically divided to your sales team, depending on what product they've selected or what line of products they've selected, right? So probably a task to call them and connect with them. Let's assume you call them and you hang up. The system should ask you, are they interested? Are they not interested? If they're interested, you pick, yes, they're interested. What's the next step? Let's do a demo. Let's do a meeting. You save that button and automatically a calendar link goes to them saying, hey, here are a few slots. Would love to have a meeting with you. Can you pick what slot works for you? Right? As opposed to me calling them and saying, are you available today? Are you available tomorrow? Then trying to match my calendar with their calendar and book here and send a meeting link and all of that. This could just be automated, saving so much time, right? And not just that, you could have a system where if they haven't booked a meeting in the next 48 hours, another reminder goes to them saying, hey, we'd love to kind of meet with you and showcase our products or showcase our services. Could you please pick a time that works for you? Right? That's another example of automation. Let's go to the next stage. Right? For us, the next stage is we give a demo. Or it could be something else. Now we're still on opportunities itself, Rupa. So I give a demo, for example, right? In the demo, once I've shown them everything, then I decide now which automated route do I want to put them in. Are they ready for it right now? Are they not ready for it? If they're ready, something else happens automatically. If they're not ready, they go into a nurturing path where they'll get information every week automatically on the CRM, and which encourages them to eventually start considering it. Right? And the whole idea is hopefully I continue nurturing them through automation till they're ready. Right? Maybe right now they're just checking because they have an idea and they don't have a trade license. Right? Then they go to Rupa, they get it all done. The process takes a while for them to realize what they want to do. Now they have the trade license, they're going to migrate, they come in, and the whole process has taken about 4 months. Thankfully, thanks to my automation, in the last 4 months, I've been nurturing them. So now when they start their company, and Rupa has given them all these lovely services and they want to install a CRM, they think of me again because I had a demo with them 4 months ago. But through the automation, they remember me and we've added some great value to them, right? So on the, let's say, demo or samples given, and then so on and so forth, you continue this whole discussion based on whatever your customer journey is. Right? You map your customer journey, you put a whole straight line, put different points, inquiry, spoken, demo, proposal, follow-up, yes, no, and at every stage you kind of document what needs to happen in your automation process cycle. So that's phenomenal. We've spoken about automation and database. We've spoken about automation and opportunities. Now we'll go to the third point, which is reports, which is on the next slide. And in that you automate, what kind of reports do you want on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis, just showing up straight into your inbox, right? So the whole idea is, even if I forget to go and check, the system is checking, creates the reports, sends it to me in my inbox. I just open and I have a look, right? And I want to know probably on a daily basis how many inquiries have we received. It's that simple, right? I want that reporting to be available the minute I log into my system and in my inbox. I want to see at the end of the week which salesperson has conducted how many demos, or done how many sample meetings, or done how many follow-up meetings, right? It could be any of that. So that's important in terms of reporting. What kind of reporting do I want to be automated? So it is doing it even in my absence if I forget it. So take your pen, paper, write down daily, weekly, monthly, and then how we want to take it forward, quarterly, biannually, annually, and just put down at least 2 reports that you would like to get through the automation, right? Now there's a concept called key metrics, right? There's a key metrics number that you identify in your industry, which kind of makes you believe that if I do this on a daily basis, I'm in the right direction. If I do this on a weekly basis, I'm in the right direction. And if I do this on a monthly basis, I'm in the right direction. Right? There's a key metrics, there's a key indicator. You need to identify what that indicator is in your organization and put it on and say, I want an automated report showing up into my inbox on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that shows me these numbers. So I'll give you an example of what we do at Zopreneurs. Our daily metrics is demos. How many CRM demos are we giving on a daily basis? The logic is simple. The more the demos, the more the sales, right? That's one of our daily metrics, the daily reports that I want to see. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 for us is weekly, right? What kind of numbers you want to see on a weekly basis? My key metrics for a weekly basis is following up with all the opportunities. I might have 76 opportunities. Once a week, I have to touch base with them. That's it. That's it. Just once a week. And I know if I touch base with all these opportunities once a week, we're in the right direction. Then you have a monthly reporting format. Could be your sales, could be your conversion, could be the duration taken to convert. But you need to know what kind of reports you want to see on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And based on that, you automate them so you have them regularly and then you take actions. So the whole process that we've gone through right now is I have a database, what kind of automations in it to get inquiries coming in. Now I have my opportunities and inquiries, what kind of automation to convert those inquiries to customers. And the last one is what kind of reports do I want to see so I can make sure I'm on track of these things. Thank you guys for listening. Rupa, thank you once again for the opportunity. We're going to move to Q&As. If anybody has any questions and answers, questions that you want us to answer, this is the right time. You could either ask them, you can put them on the chat and we can take it forward. Or else I know Rupa said that she would have a couple of questions. By the way, guys, Rupa is a big fan of technology. She's automated a lot of stuff in her business. I don't know if you all know her for a very long time, but Rupa has grown massively over the last few years and her knowledge of business processes is phenomenal. So if she's also a subject matter expert with this in whole the business process and customer mapping. So if you have any questions, this is the right time. Rupa, if you want to ask anything or you want me to highlight something in more detail, let me know. And now I'm handing it over to you.
Thank you, Sandan. First of all, it was beautiful. It was amazing. You will not believe, even in spite of using Zoho for 4 years now, when you were giving the homeworks and you were giving the assignments, even I was writing here, in my diary, and I have almost written the points that still what is missing. So I think, AI automation is a big ocean, and every time you automate, you still feel there's something missing and you can do more. So there's so much of scope. And it cannot happen at once. It takes time. I think with the flow we understand, okay, where the gaps are, and also as the market is changing every day, the customers needs, requirements, attention span, everything is changing. So according to that, we have to change the systems. Maybe the duration in which we send the emails has to be changed. Sometimes there are some compliance, so you have to ask permissions, allow subscriber options. You have to keep doing something or the other. So I think sooner you start, better for your business, because once your business grow and then implementing, it's very, very difficult. So if somebody's starting exactly, I think for me, the advantage was when I was a 2-people company, I started it that time. I knew the importance. And that's why today I could literally manage it, and it's not a big deal. But I can really imagine if somebody's starting at a later stage, how much confusion or chaos will it create? So to be quick, I just have few questions because, for example, we just spoke about automation, and the best part is you broke it up in database, opportunity, reporting. So now a very common question that for startups, for small companies or SMEs, how expensive or how economical it is to implement this kind of systems, and what is the time duration that it takes, how soon it can be done?
I love that question because it clearly puts you in the box that says, yes, I can do this or I cannot do this right now, right? So first thing is you have to keep in mind the number of costs. You're looking at 2 major costs that happen. One is your license cost of any software that you take, right? We specialize in Zoho, so I'll talk about Zoho. Let's assume you're taking the Zoho CRM. There are packages that start from 80, 120, $150 per month per user, right? And they do have an option to pay monthly or annually. So your first cost is your license cost. If depending on the number of people, if you're three people, you're looking at 150 into three at the max, $450 a month, for example. And then you pay that regularly. It's like a subscription fee, like how you pay for Netflix or these applications. So that's point number one. Point number two is your setup one-time cost, which a Zoho partner can assist you with, in which they customize the whole system and put in these automations specifically for your industry. Now the best part about Zoho is it's absolutely modular. So today you will say, you know what, let's only install the database and automations over there. Great, you can start off with that. Then after about a month, you come back and say, now let's have automations in reports. Great, let's do that right now. After a month, you come back and say, let's have automation in your opportunity. So it's very modular in structure. On average, a basic module could be anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 to set up. And that's about it. And you're good to start. If you're looking at a whole system, you're looking at about $5,000, right? Start to end. But you could do it modular in terms of startups and say, I have a budget of $1,500 to begin with. I want to do the database module. Fantastic, we can do that. It is absolutely modular. So Rupa, I'll repeat it once again. Your license cost and your setup cost. License cost is recurring, anywhere between 80 dirhams to 150 dirhams per user per month. And then you have your setup cost, which could start from about $1,500 to $2,000, and it would go to 5, 6, 8, 10, depending on how much automation you want.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's really good. I think it is less than what an employee costs. But then again, for example, when we are doing this and we are outsourcing the customization to a company, how frequently the company has to engage with a customer with a company? Like, is it like one time and then AMC, or is it a good advice to go on month? What is the best practice? How, like, because if somebody is taking a Zoho subscription or ID for their staffs, and let's say if I need a lot of customizations and putting, so how, should I take a monthly retainer? Should I sign with a company who will be doing the implementations, or should I just take a one-time work and then just use AMCs?
I love your questions, Rupa. Clearly, you've been using Zoho so well, you know all the right questions. So there are different ways of doing it. How the general process works is you define a scope of work saying, I need this, 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 this. Your scope of work needs to be absolutely detailed, and it needs to end with, at the end of all this, I want to see these 25 reports. Once you have your scope of work, you give it to a partner. The partner develops and hands it over to you. And now you have two options. Either you have a resource in your organization that understands the system and takes the whole knowledge handover, and also takes the training from an administrator perspective, where now I am the admin dedicated, I will run the system. We don't need an AMC. So if you have a dedicated resource, that person gets the whole know-how, gets the knowledge dump, and then becomes the administrator and runs the system, and that's about it. That's the end of it. If you don't have a dedicated resource, you could look at getting an AMC, and AMCs, they're as economical as $80 a month or something, right? So it's minuscule, in terms of the money you kind of pay, but the value is brilliant. So you have both the options. We always recommend going modular. We have clients who say we want to do Zoho CRM and inventory and books and all of it at the same time. It becomes this mammoth project, which of course we can do for you if you want it, but we always recommend going slow, because there is a learning curve for the users also, where they need to undergo this, understand, learn, try, demo, get better at it. So yes, we would always recommend having a spread out approach. Thank you.
Right, because I absolutely understand that, because I've seen that, because as entrepreneurs also, we are always not ready with everything, but it is a good idea, like you said, to the one activity that you did in the beginning of your session, the putting down what kind of reports you need, what are your processes, what I think that homework, if you can do before taking the software, that will save a lot of time, for you, and you can just kickstart. So this was really good. One more question I have, and that is, like, for example, for using these kind of softwares, when I'm putting my full business in a outside software and not an in-house software, what are the downtimes, or what are the challenges that I need to be prepared for? Like, for example, is there any, because if for any day suddenly it's not working and my whole database and everything is over there, so are there any best practices that somebody needs to do, any backup people need to take, or what is that, what is the fear, what is the unknown fear over here?
Okay, fantastic. Great question. Thankfully, these organizations that run these systems are highly data compliant. So they have a lot of back-end systems running to secure your data, first of all, in terms of data security, right? Also, depending on which industry you have, you fit into different areas of data center. So we come under the US data center, for example. There's something in India, there are other countries as well. So first, with regards to security, you're absolutely safe because you're on cloud. You avoid the whole stress of having a physical server in terms of cost and the server getting stolen, burned down, damaged, anything along those lines, right? So that's the first advantage that you have. The other advantage also is your ease of operation, because you log in from any system and you're operational. Otherwise, if you have an on-prem server, you have to come to your office and connect and then kind of engage with that. So the ease of operations is there. The only thing you need to keep in mind in terms of what could be something that I haven't thought about is the cost of the license once you grow, right? If you have tomorrow 50 users and you're paying for 50 licenses, it becomes a decent amount that you pay on a monthly or yearly basis. But the CRM is known to provide so much value, and the ROI is so much higher, looking at 5, 6, even 10x in some organizations of what you pay in your licenses through the right kind of automation they've deployed well, that people don't mind paying that. But yeah, you just need to keep in mind the growing cost for the growing licenses. Beyond that, it's better in any way possible, because if you develop your own software, you become responsible for hosting it, for paying for this space, for upgrading it, for debugging it, which all it takes a lot of time and effort and money. And eventually, 5 years down, the system becomes outdated. And then again, you develop a whole new system, whereas over here, they keep upgrading it on a weekly basis, literally. And in terms of downtime, Zoho has 80 million users worldwide. Their
Wow.
downtime is in less than 0.001 digits as well. So you're pretty safe over there.
Super. That's amazing. That's some good news. So, Satyan, thank you so much for answering all these questions and helping us today with this insight. And I think it is very important. And I'm going to share this with all the entrepreneurs who are joining and starting new in Dubai, because especially in this country, they need to kickstart from the first day the bill is started. Nothing is free. So it is important for them to start as, and competition is pretty tight. So they need to start from the first day and do the best they can to
Hmm.
scale up their business. So now the last question, Satyan, how can they get in touch with you? And what is the process? How should they contact? What information they should give to you so that you can get back? Like, what is that process?
Fantastic. So they can reach out to us on our website. We are called Zopreneurs.com, Zopreneurs.com. Also, if you can share the slide, Rupa, there's a QR code towards the end of the slide,
Yes.
which they can scan right away. It has my email as well, and number as well. You can take a picture of that, or you can even reach out to Rupa. Rupa knows us very well, and she's been instrumental in our success. So that's also a possibility. So you have the QR code, you have my email, you have my number, and plus you can just go to our website, or you can look me up on LinkedIn. It's Satyan Babla, SatyenBabla. And if you still can't find us, you can just reach out to Rupa, and Rupa knows us very well, and she'll put us in touch. Thank you,
Thank you.
Rupa.
Thank you so much, Satyan, for the wonderful session. And thank you, guests, for coming today and joining. And I'm sure you are here. That represents that you are really serious about scaling up your business and doing what is required, and you value your time. So thank you so much for your time today. And we will keep doing these seminars, how you can scale up your business in coming future, and we'll keep you updated. We will share the video of the seminar after the event. You can maybe, if you have missed anything, you can go through it, or you can share it with your friends and network. So thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you again in the next webinar. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. See you. Bye. Take care. Thank you, Dana. Thank you very much. You're always welcome. Rupa, thank you also. And I will be leaving now.